to the To Be Fair Show. I'm your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real.
It's Q.
And we back.
Back.
Another game night.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to throw it to our illustrious host, Taj, and let her explain the evening.
All right, so tonight we have a special edition of the To Be Fair Show. We are filming game night. The premise of this is pretty much we have all our guests when they come into the house to write a question. We put it in a bowl, and we're just going to have a conversation based off of whatever was written in the bowl. Are y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can a man or woman have a best friend of the opposite sex while in a relationship?
Yes.
That was my answer. I say yes. I have two really close male friends. And I mean, long as it's not awkward, long as you're not doing anything like, that you shouldn't be doing behind your partner's back. I also think it's important to include your partner.
I say no.
Explain.
I say
Talk
no.
to me.
Yeah, nah. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say that you can't, but I would rather it not be the case. You know what I mean? Just because I at the end of the day, like for me growing up, I ain't never been able to have like a female friend. You know what I mean? Generally, a female friend that I have would end up, you know what I mean? It didn't turn out to be just some friendship shit. So that's not my reality. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I guess it's just really based on my experience. I would really, you know what I mean, shy away from it unless, you would have to go kind of above and beyond to make me completely okay with that. That's just my perspective based on my experience.
I think you can, but I think it's something it's about trust. I mean, I don't think you got to be in a really good relationship or have a lot of trust and communication in your relationship, but I do think it's possible.
I'm going to say yes. It's just that when you get in a relationship, the relationship that you have with your best friend changes. So, for example, me and my guy best friend used to always like bar hop and go out. Obviously, I'm in a relationship, so that no longer happens. You have to establish healthy boundaries so that your partner's okay with it, and then it also doesn't feel like you're stepping on anyone's toes.
I'm going to also agree with you, actually. I think that it's important to just make sure that there's open line of communication between the partners, and then outside of that, you're good. I think that's fine.
I would say I think it's almost kind of like the difference between preference and what can happen per
Right,
se.
right.
Like I think that every guy's preference will be no. Just because every guy knows, like they know niggas that play the long game. But like, can it happen? Sure. And I think
Right.
that there is a space of maturity where you have to, like, as a guy, like I remember when I was inside the mindset of like I couldn't have women friends because usually I'm gonna try and like talk to them X, Y, and Z. But as I've grown, I've gotten to a spot where I can have women friends and not have any ounce of attraction to them and like enjoy the fruits of our conversation more than anything. The perspective X, Y, and Z. And to me, it's hard for me to look at it like the other way and say no as well. So, like I said, preference, no. But can it happen? Sure. And as long as no lines are crossed, there's no reason for me to worry or care about anything. Hey,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would say that the right answer is you should be able to as long as you have open conversation and da. That shit sounds good. You know what I mean? When you talk about long-term relationships, that you know what I mean, it can become a thing. You know what I mean, and where you might agree to it up front. You know what I mean? But as time goes on, it's like, okay, wait, nah, bro, kind of in the way. You know what I mean?
Do you think at this big age, like men are still thinking that the long game?
it really depends on the guy. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think that even in my maturation, like I ain't gonna pretend like I've just always been mature. And that's always a thing that I could always see as well. And a lot of guys mature a lot slower than I do. And I've matured a lot slower than other guys as well. I think it's not even an age thing. It's literally a maturation space. Like if you're mature enough to actually be able to handle somebody from the opposite sex and have like real conversations, more than like at this big age. It's more like at this big maturity level. If you feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I think that when we're talking like age doesn't mean anything.
At all.
Just in general, age doesn't mean anything. People mature at different ages. Because you could say females mature faster than men, but then you can see the opposite. Just like you can see, you know what I mean, the opposite with men. So I don't think age means anything.
Basically, like if there's a threat, if there's a threat there, like is it friends like y'all work together and then y'all broke up with no hard feelings and y'all are still cool, or there's still feelings. That's why it's like
What is it? Work husband?
Yeah.
Man, a
Think
work
that don't go
husband,
around the
a
building. That
daggone,
goes
all
around.
type of
I
situations.
seen
That's like,
faces turn just now.
it got quiet when you said work husband.
Yeah. You see that body language change. Motherfucker start sitting up
People
and
like,
shit.
hold on. You went too
That's
far too quick, bro.
that's why I say hell no. Hell no. Because I mean, you look from the perspective of who you are as a man. How many times have you befriended a female in the sense knowing she was with someone just to get what you wanted from that female? And I look at everything
Right.
from that perspective of what I've done in my life, and I know how men move. Nah, we ain't doing that man friend, that work husband. We not doing none of that stuff.
And that's
You
why
gonna
most guys have a really pessimistic view of this whole thing. It's because we
we
know
know
us as
ourselves.
niggas,
And then
and
the
we know
thing,
all our friends and how we've like had the conversations
We
of
don't know what we walking
of a
into.
nigga that then played the long game.
and the thing is that it's like, okay, so as a man, it's not even just like if you've had a friend and played the long game. It's really like, okay, so how do you choose your friend? You know what I mean? As a man, you generally are going to give a female that you're more that you're attracted to more time to even build any kind of friendship with. Like, unless it's just like you just sitting around each other. But what are the chances that you would choose to continuously sit around this woman without any type of attraction, just all for the strength? Like, that, I think that it's like for you to believe that bruh sitting there and just, you know what I mean? Nah, I can't believe
Yeah,
him.
you're not just
Bruh kind of
listening just
suspect and
cause.
just to even
I want to throw the Big K real quick. It seemed like she got some fire in his
over there
eye
cooking
over there.
something.
What you got?
Well, I'm surprised you noticed that. Well, I'm a person who is only friends really with males. I only got like 2 or 3 female friends. But that's why I can answer this confidently. Absolutely not. Because out of 10 guys that I'm friends with, 9 of them would try to get with me whether I was in a relationship or not, and I have to end that if I'm in a relationship. And there'd be only like one dude that's truly able to just have a friendship with me. And then with that friend, I also make sure that my partner is also friends with him. In fact, one of my friends is more closer with my partner than he is with me now at this point. So I also would like to
Watch
add
that
too
nigga,
that
bruh.
I don't think that person should be your best friend. Best friend is a very serious thing. It's talking about like amount of closeness.
Bit of intimacy.
And you don't need to have that amount of closeness with no other person other than your partner, in my opinion. And unless it's like the same sex or something like that.
And I also think it's a matter of like you can have like the goodest intentions, but it's about what that friend, what kind of attention, they have in their head. Because you might not be planning anything, but that friend might be trying to do something. That's what you gotta, watch out. It's just about, judge a character. You gotta be able to know who
Bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. What we know, all his men, that one nigga, he gay. Fuck that shit. We're gonna keep it a buck with you. We're gonna keep it a buck with you. That one dude that feel like he really care about what you feel about, that nigga gay. Everybody else, they trying to hit. We know this shit is men. We know that's why we're so protective
I don't
of our
agree
females.
with that.
That's why we're so protective of what we do. Like, you take a poll of men right here. How many of us want our female to want to have a male best friend?
Oh, it's a
Unless
difference.
that nigga's gay,
Like the word
bro,
is one.
bro,
And that's what I said. Every nigga preference is not.
bro, it's nah. It is what it is. I mean, we can't help it. We once we say we love y'all and we want y'all, it's over. And when I say about that, it's like we care about you more than anything else. So us sharing you with anyone in a friendship, nah. A man may say I'm cool with it, boo, but unless that dude gay, hell no.
Ooh, can a person be in a serious relationship with multiple people?
I can't wait to answer this question.
Sheesh.
Can I answer?
I mean, technically, no, you
Me,
can
it's me, it's me.
you answer first.
It's a hell no. It's a no. It's a no. It's a no. It's a no. There's no way that you could put your 100% into multiple people. You're giving one person 50. You're giving the other person 50. It's not possible. I don't agree. Disagree.
I say no. I think that the key word would be serious. And I would say, like, if you're seriously in a relationship, I think that there's a certain level of intention that goes with that. That would be us actually connecting on 100% basis with each other, and like trying to actually really build something. I don't think that anybody would say the dating phase when like you're dating multiple people and like you're trying to figure out who you want is a serious space. But when you lock in and like you're like, all right, this is shorty. I think that that's the moment that it's like that's a serious relationship. Nah, I say nah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think you can do whatever you want to do as long as you got a goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean? Like, what do they mean? What do they mean? Can you do it? Like, what do you mean? Like, will it work? Like, can you make it work?
Yeah,
Somebody can make it work.
maybe he's in.
And I was gonna say, 'cause I know, like, I got friends that are quote unquote poly, and they're in serious relationships now.
What's the longevity of that?
I don't know. You know,
I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
There's a guy who got 8 wives.
Now, I'll put it this way. I don't think that I can make it work. I don't think that I can make something like that work. But if you're saying, like, can people do that? I'm just trying to figure out, like, do you mean can somebody pull that off, or is it right or wrong?
I only want to make one like baseline rule. I think that it'll be good inside the conversations because we don't know where the conversation is going to go. But let's try and like frame everything as close to not the exception, but like the majority,
Yeah.
or whatnot. And I think that that'll make this a little bit easier to answer because I agree. Like, can it work? Sure, but overall, in general, usually, I say nah.
Being 100% committed to multiple people, no, you cannot do that. Your head's going to be all fucked up. You're all over the place. It's just impossible. Just be committed to one person and live a faithful life. God is going to bless you.
I definitely disagree. Ideally, I would love a poly relationship. I think you can really have deep. It's like y'all don't understand how love works. You can definitely love more than one person at one time, and it can be a romantic love if everybody agrees. And like one person can give you what another person is not giving you. I 100% think you can have serious relationships with multiple people. It's that would be a dream for me.
So reason why I asked this question because
Oh, so this is your question.
This is my question for sure. So I feel like honestly you can. As long as you can balance it out where it works for everybody, I don't see why it doesn't work. I feel like as long as you invest the time into what it works, because given the situation, you have someone that may be distant, have someone that may be local, but you make everyone feel like they known, they feel special, they getting the best part of you. I don't see why it can't work.
Let's go ahead with the buck part. Let's go. Oh, you want it? Let's go with the buck part. Because the thing is that first off, to have this conversation, your pockets got to be lined a certain way.
That's right.
That's number one.
I get that too.
Your pockets got to be lined a certain way in order for you to even kind of, you know what I mean?
But I disagree.
I'm talking about as a man. Me as a man.
No, I disagree as a man. I feel like my point in this is right. So this is where I go to the underlying issue. A lot of people try to do this without making sure everybody know what's going on.
What he telling you?
Everybody know that when everyone know what's going on. I'm about to get the poly. Poly is everybody knowing what's going on.
Oh,
So let me build into this right here. So if you know what's going, give you a prime example. If you know that I'm dealing with her and she knows I'm dealing with you, and you accept it, what does that mean? That's poly.
At this big age of 30 plus, people are looking for houses. They're looking for marriage. How are you going to have two relationships with two separate women who want children, who want marriage, who want holidays? How are you going to do that? Please explain.
Spice.
So in a situation, you're speaking from a personal, not necessarily you personal, but in a general sense, we're at the age also where most of us have kids. Well, we're not looking to have more kids going forward. So that part is not in the situation. So the situation is more so more than anything else, I want your attention. I want your love. I want what you can bring to me to make me feel more comfortable about myself.
At the age of 30, we're looking for partnership. We're looking for somebody that we can build with. How can I build as a female, say there's a man who's dating two women and one woman is giving 100% of herself into this man. How can he possibly give 100% of himself to that woman when he has another woman who has the same exact requirement? She wants the family, she wants the holiday, she wants the kids. At 30, this is what we're looking for. How can you do that?
Well, there are different perspectives on each situation. So what I'm speaking of is more so in a situation where not everyone is in that situation of wanting kids, wanting more. More so right now at the age of where I am, a little bit older, 39, ain't too many females trying to have kids at this age.
But what about building? Okay, let's take the
Building,
kids out.
so
Building. She wants the house. You gonna buy a house for her and your other woman?
so at this point right now at 39,
Because that's what he talked about funds.
So
That's where
why
the funds come in. Yes,
I
if you have the
got
money,
you.
if you diddy, go ahead, splurge out. But if
So-
you're not, you're regular Joe Schmo. What do you do?
So
What
at
do you do?
so at this point right now at 39, I have my own house. So why are we bound an additional house for any reason?
So you're gonna put both of them in your house.
So more so, and that comes to the more so the situation itself. Are we building itself to build something more than what we have? Or we building for more so what we have right now going forward? Because
But-
right now, if I have a house that is 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, whatever is going on, why do we need to buy a new house?
So are these serious relationships or are these situationships? Because you're stating that you've already established all of these things. Now you just want a woman that you can just satisfy whenever you want to.
So for one, I'm not speaking personally. Speaking in a general sense of a question that was asked. So boom, for one.
Don't let him box you, bro.
I think we'll just wrap it up right there. I'm gonna let you lead it, bro.
Next
Oh,
question
gotcha.
says, why is marriage important? So I guess I'll start the answer. I would say I think that marriage is important, and I am an advocate for marriage. Even though I'm not married and I have a kid outside of marriage. I think that marriage is important in the like even if we just take statistics. I'll take the statistic route, and I think that statistically, when raising a family in general, the highest rate of success comes within the bond of marriage. Two-parent household, and I do believe inside that structure and function in general. I think that marriage is also important for the Black community because of, again, we can't really talk a lot about generational wealth, building funds, X, Y, and Z, and not talk about actually being inside actually building real families to be able to pass things down.
I think marriage is important. I think I think that real understanding of what your marriage is even more important though. So you know what I mean? Like I've seen people get married just to stay in the country. I done seen people get married to, you know, really lock in with each other, and then I done seen people get married for business arrangement. You know what I mean? So you have the paperwork that you sign, but it's like the understanding of what y'all are trying to do is what I feel like is important. But marriage is important.
Marriage definitely is important, especially as someone that is married. Now, with that question, though, it's still subjective. I've met people that's like, yo, I'll never get married. If you don't value what marriage is, well, then you're not going to do it. You only value what you're going to do. So, but like I say, for me, it's been great. I think what people fail to realize in marriage is marriage takes work. People think, oh, I'm married now, I'm good. Nah, it's not. Marriage is that job you go to and do 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Marriage, you don't get no time off. Like you always married, you always putting in that work. If you're not willing to put in that work, well then you're not valuing it, nor will it be successful. That's just kind of what it is.
But
This was hard for me.
okay,
I'm gonna pass it.
So marriage, to me, personally, I feel like it's not as important what it's been deemed to be.
You been married before?
I've been engaged.
Okay.
And I feel like, in the sense in marriage, and I've watched parents be married, divorced, all those type of things. I feel like, in the sense, marriage is nothing but a contract of a relationship. And when I say that, is more so, it's basically marriage gives you the right to say certain things that you can't say in a regular relationship. It's
That's a
more so,
toxic version of marriage, though, right?
huh?
That's what that sounds. That sounds like really toxic version of a relationship.
Well, but that's how it feels. Like in
Okay.
marriage, you feel like you have the point to really tell this person, really, hey, nah, you can't leave. You have to stay and deal with this shit.
Where did marriage come from? If I had to ask you, where are you saying marriage came from? The origin of it.
Marriage is not spoken in the Bible. That part. So that part. For one, marriage is not spoken in the Bible. For two, we know marriage has been a traditional thing. Like, we go back to slavery days, like, bro, like, was their marriage real? Or was it not? It's more so just it's a
There's so many
relational
ways to go,
contract.
but that's why I think that's why I think it's important, and especially when you're talking about kids and you're talking about legacy and you're talking about like leaving something. I think that's why it's ultimately like the most important, especially for Black people. We gotta like start building something at some point. We gotta start
Right.
putting
Well, let
that.
me just say, in my opinion, y'all know where I kind of stand, right? Y'all, we've heard
Yeah,
my opinion quite often. What I'll say is that again, a lot of the things that we sit and say about that we think that requires marriage, it doesn't require marriage. There's a level of commitment. There's a level of commitment. You can get the rings. You know what I mean? These are more like ceremonial things. A wedding, that's still ceremonial. You know what I mean? The commitment is the only thing that really makes the
So are you talking
thing
about like
work.
the difference between a legal marriage and
Just because
like a
marriage,
ceremony?
marriage literally is. Well, the way that we typically think of marriage is going through the process of signing the paperwork. That's what marriage is. Pretty much is. It pretty much comes with the piece of paper being signed from both parties, with the witness and all of that. That's what marriage is. Otherwise, we pretty much would be saying like we're just
Right.
together.
I guess what I'm saying is that because what you was like saying that you didn't really like the things you could do without. You were speaking about the legal process.
I'm saying is the difference between what society believes marriage or what we actually take marriage as or have accepted marriage to be defined as versus what the relationship. What I'm saying is that there's very little that you can do or can't do without being married. Like you can't put her on your life insurance without being married to her. Or not your life insurance, your health insurance. In order for an adult woman to be on your health insurance, I believe you have to be married to her. But other than that, that's pretty much the only thing that hinders you. Like you can buy a house together, you can have kids together, you can do every single thing outside of having the paperwork signed. That's the only point that I'm making. So I'm not saying, and I done kind of got off.
So you don't believe that it's important? Is that what
I
you're
don't
saying?
believe that the social structure, as far as signing the paperwork and all of that part, when you start bringing the white man and his paperwork and all of his
That's what I was
chains,
asking. I said like the
yeah, when you
legal.
start letting his
Right.
chains in part, when his chains get involved, then
So
that's where it becomes it can become a detriment to either side.
So if you're in the hospital and this is you and your girlfriend, y'all been together for like 10 plus years and you have no family and you need to have a surgery and you're unconscious, like what happens?
So in that case, you can have a health power of attorney over each other. So like even in like literally, you can have financial power of attorney. You can have health in case of health
that sounds
situations.
like
You can
going
have
through
power
the
of
loop
attorney.
instead of just like getting
Yeah,
married.
but see, because it doesn't.
kind of sound like a marriage.
Because the thing is that it's a little bit more. It sounds like, but listen, it depends on what you have to risk. It depends on if you have nothing to lose, if you have nothing to risk, if you don't own anything, if you don't have your retirement, if you don't have anything, then hey, if y'all both coming into it with nothing, then that makes all the sense in the world, possibly. But what I will say is that the way that the change, the links that they created with that paperwork, you can lose a lot.
That's what a prenup for.
Yeah,
If you feel that strongly about
you do also understand that you also understand that
A
like
prenup
your
and a
regular
postnup
prenups,
are both options.
your regular prenups do have a time frame in which they become no longer valid unless
it's what you're putting in there.
unless you actually have
That's
the bread. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that why am I having to make so many fucking precautions to make sure I'm spending all this money just trying to make sure I got the attorney to draw up the paperwork, you know what I mean, to make this not no 5 to 7 year prenup, and then you say, oh, I posting up, now we got to go and try to come out my pocket again to figure this part out. Then, you know what I mean, and you don't even know if that shit don't really stand. This is, okay,
But I
well,
have a
this may
question for
be
you.
able to work, but who's to say that the
But-
judge is still going to actually say that
Nah.
that's what we're going to do?
I'm gonna be honest. It's still for me. This is how you going into it.
Oh, bro, I'm not attacking yours. Like,
No.
literally, I was
saying-
married for 13 years. I just, you know what I mean, just recently kind of got in the scenario. You know what I mean?
I
So
got
like, and I'm not a person that is like I'm not down talking marriage.
No,
This is
no,
just the
respect.
way that I'm
Right,
kind
all right,
of laying
so-
everything out like that makes sense to me.
So I guess again, this is why, like at the beginning, because I think that there's two conversations to have, and I do think that there is a legit conversation that we can speak about when it comes down to like being legally married, and then like the general institution of marriage, and that's why I was trying to get you to clarify early, and everything that you pointed to was like literally like the legal part of marriage, and
Yeah.
I think that we will have two conversations where we speak about like the institution of marriage and actually like two people like being committed bond to X, Y, Z, and the
Right.
actual institution, the legal part, and everything that you like you ran down was the legal part. In which like you, even if you go into like a lot of spaces that you hear conversations, a lot of people will speak about getting married but not legally married.
I ain't really heard those conversations, to be completely honest.
They're really
Like
really
the
popular right
non-legal
now.
joints.
One of the things I will say, and this is kind of in response to yours earlier with that question, but two part. You have spiritual, if that's the route you take, you have a spiritual, but then you also have it on paper. You have the legal. You have what you consider like the white man's joint. So the first marriage, if like I say, because I don't like to assume everyone is like a biblical person. First marriage was biblical. It was Adam and Eve. God did that. He said, you will leave
God
your
did.
father and mother, and you will stick to this person. He instituted that marriage there with them. So you make your vows before him. Ultimately, especially for me, ultimately, that's all that matters. Ultimately, that's all that matters. You make your vow between God that this is your person. They make that vow to you. It's set in stone. Now, don't get me wrong. The man has put papers in, place to assume the last name or however you want to go about it, the logistics of it. Cool. You have some, like they say, that will just do what I consider the spiritual route. And you have others that, I need this on paper. I need people to know because my numbers, my everything that I've invested, you're not going to take this from me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. But marriage is a two-part thing. So, don't get me wrong. You have those that do both. Hey, I'm gonna say my vows in front of God to tell you, you are my wife. I'm your husband. Cool. And then we're going to sign that paper. I think when I did it, it was $35. But everyone knows that when you get divorced, well, it's way more expensive. You know what I'm saying? $35 to get married, a couple thousand, if not more, to get divorced.
Couple.
Yeah.
Why's everything around marriage about money? Because there's also women who have gotten divorced and they also have to pay their ex-husbands alimony or whatever it is. So why is everything when it pertains to money, to marriage, all about money?
I think that's America's fault, man. America did it like that, Where do you wish you lived?
Where do you wish you lived?
Where do I wish I lived? I don't know. I wish I lived in Texas.
What's in Texas?
Any specific time?
Just to see what's down there, you know what I'm saying?
It ain't shit down there, bro. I've been.
Nope. That's why I want to go, because I've never been.
If I could live anywhere, I don't have a specific state in mind, but I would like to live somewhere like near nature, near water, something like that. Grow a garden and just experience the beauty of the world. That's what I would say.
Nah, I always say, I want to live around my friends and family. I just I want to be where the love at. So ain't no one specific place or thing, but
Hallmark Johnny over here.
any place I can get a community, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, wait, you go.
You got
Okay, yeah, go ahead. So, go ahead.
I would want to live in New York. Just because I'm from New York, from Brooklyn, I would just want to be in like living high end, not like in the trenches, like living in Manhattan or something. But I would love to live in New York, just experience that like Lower East Side lifestyle. That's what I would want.
Yeah, for me, I would want to live in a house that's paid for. People be worried about the wrong shit. Be worried about the wrong shit.
Good answer.
I'm trying to tell you, give me one that's paid for, so then I can take that equity and get that other, and then you know what I mean. Make that make sense. That's where I want to live at.
Oh man, how am I gonna follow up with that? I don't have a specific location, but I just imagine just having a bunch of land in a big house. In my house, like everything's there, like a movie theater, a bowling alley, and same thing that Newton say. Like I want my family there, I want my friends there, but then I also want like another house, like a 2-story house behind it, so they can't stay in my house, but they can stay in the house.
Oh, I was about to say I'm moving in.
In the house behind it.
You got a movie theater, bowling alley, bitch. I'm moving in.
Yeah, in the house behind it. Just stay there.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off a few other ones as well. I want a house that's paid for sure. Definitely want a house that allows my family to be there, but more so, I want to be in a state that allows weed that's legal. Cause I want to smoke as much as I fucking possibly
Burner
can.
boy over here.
All that part. I want to be able to grow weed in my backyard. I want to have a greenhouse.
They smoke your own shit.
That part. Like, I want all that. So put me in Vermont, Maine, D.C., California, Nevada, any one of them type of states, I'm Gucci.
I would say Sweden because they're awesome. They have like free healthcare, free college. You get, even if the male or the female, if either one of them have a child, you get a year paid to be at home with your kids. You got free daycare. They have little to no poverty, less than most anywhere in the world. It's mostly middle class. So yeah, that's my dream place to live, Sweden. I don't know, girl.
I might have another youngin' if they gonna give me a blade.
Gotcha. Oh, I think what I learned recently was Sweden, whatever. I learned that it was a neutral or something like that. Switzerland? It was Switzerland. Okay, my fault. It was Switzerland. Whatever. Somebody Switzerland. But I'm torn, man. I'm torn. Reason being, if I could pick anywhere, I probably would. It would be the DMV. I love the DMV. Whole DMV, bro. Even the water is good to me. But but I also love the country though. So I could definitely, bro, give me the country with all the land with the fam. Because, you know, I got a similar situation, especially like with my in-laws. We have all this land, and in the middle of it, we got our own boom boom room. But you can't ask for better, bro. Like the pool table, everything. So I'm torn, but I don't know. I think yours probably the biggest thing. Just put me around everybody I love that love me back, and we happy. That's it.
fire, too.
You can't fight
On
it.
my own, y'all ain't trying to go gardens then, okay?
Um,
I've been to Island by myself.
not. I like piggybacking off of like the fire answer. So I'm a drag. I'm a mix. What is this? Rail and Newton. But not. But outside of those things, I do think that that's important. I think really home is where your friends and family is. And shit, I'm trying to pay this bitch off, and you know what I mean. I would much rather have my car paid for and my house paid for sure. But outside of that, like where I want to retire at, and that's where I look at it as more so, would be Florida, California, somewhere where it's warm all the time. I ain't really a fan of the winter.
Okay. Rich partner, but toxic, or broke partner, but in love.
Easy.
So, nah, it's definitely gonna be love, man. Because you can build on love. You can build on that situation. I mean, if a person rich, and from what I've seen most of the time, when somebody rich and it's toxic, they view you more as a possession than anything. So they ain't in love with you. They gonna treat you however they feel. And at the end of the day, they sitting over here. Well, I pay for this. I do this. So you should be grateful for the things I provide. I don't want the material. I want the love. I want the affection. So, like I said, I'll be broke with you all day. And it's crazy because I had a conversation recently where we was talking about like our favorite honeymoon. And like my favorite honeymoon was like probably year 1, 2, broke. Somebody ended up giving us their timeshare. They was like, yo, you can slide to the timeshare or whatever. We went down to Orlando. Literally, this is how we budgeted. We bought food to make snacks for lunch. And then we went to Universal, did like a few of the little parks or whatever. And then for dinner, we was like, bet, we're going to pick a different spot and we're going to go, but we're going to order from the menu and just share. So at least we get to try the different things and whatnot. Cool. But we was like, yo, we had a ball. And so I'm telling my partner about this. He was like, bro, less is more. He was like, how happy are you? He was like, we always make $5, $10 stretch. Those were our happiest times. So I was like, I'm always gonna take that love and be broke versus rich and being mistreated and unappreciated.
The first thing I thought about, you said toxic and rich. Like, I think I'm gonna die soon if I be in a relationship that's gonna be toxic. Cause, like, no, seriously, all that stress and anxiety, and then, I mean, who knows? He might be beating on you, he or she could be beating.
He's just cheating on you. How about that? He's just cheating on you.
Well, the stress from him cheating on me constantly, like that, I can yes, you can literally get sick. You can literally get sick from a toxic relationship. So I want to be happy, and they say, you know, if you smile and laugh more, you live longer. I want to be happy and in love, and if we broke, then we're gonna figure it out together. We're gonna be broke together, but we're gonna help build each other up. So I ain't trying to die right now.
I'm gonna piggyback off that. Like, first of all, pertaining to the question, it says toxic and rich. Mm-hmm. Child, go somebody else with that toxic mess. But I'm not gonna say poor and happy because it's a difference. Because
You know what's up.
no,
You gonna let that nigga do some shit. It's okay.
no, I won't.
A little bit. Not a lot, but like a little bit. You got a leash. You got a little leash, right?
No.
He gonna fuck up like twice.
A long leash.
No. So let me tell you this. I don't play that fuck up stuff. It depends on what the fuck up. You gonna have to be really taking care of me for me to sit. You know what? No. First of all, no, I'm not that person. I'm not the person to be like, oh, he got all this money, so I'm gonna let him treat me like XYZ. No, because I'm gonna still talk my shit. I'm gonna let you know how I feel. At the end of the day, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you're doing for me. But I don't want no broke man. And I think if I'm happy with someone, because the type of person I am in a relationship, I like to give. Like, if you're doing good for me, like, I'm going to give to you. I can be like, damn, my man can't do this for me, but I can do this for him. No. And then I'm going to motivate your ass. You ain't going to be broke. So what you want to do? You want to get a job? What's your plan?
So I got a question real quick. So if he is only cheating on you sometimes, like he might step out like once every 3 years or something like that. Like a piece of pussy.
And Q, add to it though, Q.
But like he's supplying your lifestyle. He getting you the Birkins. He getting you like hair did, nails did. Like you laid up. You ain't never got to work a day again in your life. You taking that up, leaving it. What's up? Not a day again in your life. Everything you want. You just fucking other girls sometimes.
If I'm not in love with him and I don't really care, then I'm probably like, nah, this nigga pay my bills. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Do what you want to do because I'm doing it. But if I love him and I care about this man, ain't no way in hell I'm dealing with you cheating on me. I don't care if it's for one what? Piece of pussy. That's not fucking with it. I just want a piece of pussy. No, if I don't fuck with you, I don't really care about you that much, then I'm be like, child, do what you want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. But if I love you and I really care about you, I don't care what you're doing for me. If you fuck up with another bitch with me, you broke my trust. And I'm not going to live in unhappiness, and I'm all about my peace. So if you go out and you like, yo, babe, I'm going out with my homeboys, and you didn't cheat on me, it's like, you going out with your homeboys, you going out with that bitch. I'm calling you, not pick up your phone. Who you with?
I got a
I'm not
question for
stressing
you.
myself out.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
You said that if you don't care about him, you wouldn't care if he cheated. But if you cared about him, it would be an issue. Why would you be in a relationship if you didn't care?
Because I'm getting myself together to leave. If I'm not there at that point, let's say if I'm with a man, I'm living with him, and he taking care of all this, I gotta put all my coins, I gotta put my ducks in a row. So if I'm staying with you while you doing that shit, that means I gotta put my ducks in a row so I can take the fuck out on you.
Well, one, I think this is a crazy gallery that we have over here. Where, but all right, so, I
want to ask a question after this.
All right, I'm gonna quote like the late great Kevin Samuels, and
That's the buzzword right
Rest in peace.
and
The goat.
and what he says is that a high value man isn't cheating; he's exercising options. Right, and I think that there's a piece where if you are like looking to be what is it, a kept woman? Maybe is that like the word?
Gotta be Stevie Wonder to some shit.
Right, where like the reality is again, like inside the relationship, you're putting yourself at a space where a person has the leverage on you. And if this person is taking every version of care of you, I don't know. But if I answer the question, when it comes down to which one would I prefer, I think that I come from like the starving artist phase, to where like most of my best times was when I was broke.
Facts.
And I also value people and the friends and relationships that I had when I didn't have a lot. Because at least at that moment, you know that these are the most genuine things. And where, like, even if I pick you to where you were saying, like, that guy in that situation where you're saying, like, I'm just with him until I get my shit straight. He don't know that, though. And a little bit of that is like, there's a little bit of exploitation. There we go. There's a bit of exploitation in that where, like, even if he has money or doesn't have money and he's not the one for you, you are still exploiting him and his resources.
That's a fact.
Because you know that you don't want to be with him. And if I'm broke and you broke, I ain't even gotta worry about that. Like this shit off the string, for real, for real. So like if I had a preference to it, it's the idea of like we're both broken and madly in love, because at the end of the day I have belief in myself. And the fact that I'm gonna get this shit out the mud regardless. I'm gonna make sure I build myself up to be the man that's going to be a person that supplies and is able to provide a specific lifestyle. So yeah,
I've dated both. I wouldn't say rich. I'm gonna say wealthy enough that he took care of every single thing that I needed: nails, hair, bills, clothes, shoes, anything I needed, and my children as well. And I have a lot of kids. So yeah, I've dated both, and I'm always gonna choose poor because that was the most unhappiest relationship I've ever been in my entire life, and it made me value a person who's trying more than a person who already has it, like their actual personality, even more than anything. So
Yeah, no, and I wanna just chime in and like, cause I always say this on the pod: position over paper. It's a consistent thing that I say all the time. It's not to say that there's no value in money. It's not to say that at all. But if you value the money over the position, then it's no good to you. So like the thing is that for me is I would also choose the being, well, not me to be broke, because I mean that's not an option, and as a man that's not an option. So if my partner were to be, you know what I mean, broke, that, I mean, that would be, well, then I'm a traditional guy too. So I guess that kind of falls into my lane of things anyway. Yeah, but like I said, and then working in the state was something weird, not weird, something that I realized at my job. I realized that like most of the people that commit suicide have money. At my job, I look at death certificates all day. You know what I mean? That's just looking at them Jones all day and dealing with death all day. And you don't usually see, like, you would think that this person with this $300 in their account be the motherfucker that kill themselves, but it's the dude with 30,000, 40,000, and slit his wrist in the parking lot of the damn library. You know what I mean? That's what you're seeing. So like, I think that as a culture and as a people, we keep valuing this paper, and what it does is it makes us much more or much less moral. It makes us more selfish, and so the thing is that I think that is the thing that is deteriorating the community at large. We keep talking about doing math. You're just doing math. Oh well, my this plus that. Okay, that is simple math. That makes sense. But at the end of the day, what does the position look like? And that's the thing that I think that we're missing. We're missing this bread shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's easy. Math is easy. You can fucking add this. You can add. If you can add, you know what I mean? You went to fucking elementary school, you can add. You know what I mean? But it's the position, to me, you know what I mean, that I think that's more important. So yeah, that's my answer.
So, I mean, I feel like that's a tricky question because it depends on how you view the question. Broke, like Chrissy said, the broke thing, you can be stable enough, but broke, that can be stressful on its own too. I can't even lie. But the rich situation thing, toxic, I feel like with both situations, you can kind of teach people too. Even though, like you said, like the money thing and possession and all of that, but you could change a person's point of view. Even though he came in a situation probably thinking like, yeah, I got money, she gonna do what I said. But really, you could probably change that man thinking like, yeah, I really do love her. She's showing me different things. Even though if I didn't come from money, I'm showing you a different type of lifestyle. As for
But would you trust that though? Like if he had a
if
pattern of being toxic, and then like one day is he just gonna change or?
I mean, certain people can bring certain things out of certain people too. So, I mean, you won't know until you see. So that's my thing. But
I got a question for the women too. Like, and like I said, this could probably be just the last. I'm gonna steal from the new song with Moneybag and Glorilla. Oh yeah, I want to know from the women, toxic and good dick. Are you tolerating?
oh, that's. I feel like it depends. No, one. I feel like it depends. It depends on the woman too, because not all women. I've learned not all women be having orgasms like that. So for a woman who doesn't have orgasms, that's not a type of question to kind of ask a woman who doesn't have that.
So no,
Because
but that,
it's like,
that question, that man is toxic, but he's doing everything.
He's satisfying.
He's satisfying you to the fullest.
So
He's toxic though.
and
Yeah, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Are you tolerating? I'm just curious.
I mean, no. I mean, like she said, if I'm not like oh my god,
She backpedaling.
you're not signing up for it. You're not. Nobody know the future. Nobody know how this person's going to treat you. You're getting into the situation like, okay, he treated me good in the beginning, and then it just flip script. But if it happens that way, and you flip script. Yeah, nah, I'm gonna stay in that situation until I get to my new boo, and yeah.
But there is such
Before we go there, I think
as stigmatized though. No, I'm saying there is a such thing as that to where girls get some good dick and they don't know what to do. Like they start spending all their money on this man, they going to jail for this man. All type of shit can happen.
Taking that man off of work.
Hey, no, look, don't even think. Hey, they don't be picking him up from work. He be dropping their ass off at work.
Okay, parenting troubled kids and bonus parents parenting troubled kids.
Wait, say that.
Parenting troubled kids, and then I guess it's a two-part. It says and bonus parents parenting troubled kids.
So, guys, it's my question.
Okay.
I just want. I would say, as far as like the parents' point of view of like a troubled child, like let's say your child gets in trouble all the time, and you've done whoop them because us black people we whoop. You whoop the child, you talk to them, you discipline them, and it's nothing that seems to be working, and they're still like trouble. And then also the parents, the bonus parents who are like presently in that child's life as well. How do you go about parenting that child? Like you just don't know, like, you know, I've done everything I can. The child is just still getting in trouble. He's still bad mouthing, talking back. How do you go about doing that? Your point of view for the parent.
I mean, that's kind of hard. I'm a mixture of gentle parenting and I will whoop your ass if you disrespect me. So, but I mean, if I'm constantly popping him or threatening him or, you know, putting him on punishment, like I'm not creating a safe space for him to really try to. He might not even know how he's feeling, but as a parent, I have to figure out a way to create a safe space for him to communicate or try to communicate as best as he can. How is he feeling? Why is he feeling that way? And then what can I do to help him get past that feeling? And then it has to be something that's consistently worked on for both me and him. So I don't, that's kind of hard because I don't know what that person is doing or not doing to say what they should do, or maybe they should try differently.
And I got a question. Do we believe that like children, there are some children that are born inherently bad?
Yes, I think personality traits are genetic.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
No, listen. I asked the question because I don't believe that. I believe that let's say not a bad child. I think that bad parenting is a result, like a child that's not that has behavioral issues. That is going to be the it's the result of bad parenting. You don't, because the thing is that children need a certain level of, and this is why I am again traditional. I believe that a woman being able to, well, a child or an adult parent being able to spend the necessary amount of time in order to be able to understand their kids is very important. I think that is more important to me than going and giving the man 40 hours. So that's why I stand on a more traditional side of things. That's like my whole shit. But like I said, I think that a child being, let's say, having bad behavior, I think it's a direct result of, I ain't gonna say bad parenting. It's not necessarily bad parenting, but it's just the lack of attention, the lack of attention and intention, and the result of that is bad behavior. And especially it's also, and if you talk about male kids, male children, man child, we tend to need a different level. We need more men as well. We need men. It's no way, like, I think my mom, you know what I mean, she did what she could, you know what I mean, to raise good men. She did what she could. But also there's a level in which men in the community, and I think that that's something too we need to get back to, is men, we need to start trying to pour more into our communities, because the men being, or the, I don't want to say this, I keep saying the man child being what they are now is a result of us pulling away and also being pushed away. So I don't believe that. I believe that it starts with the parent. That's what I'm saying. I guess that's my bottom, my answer to it.
But at the same time, what if it's let's just use for example, the woman doesn't have kids and the man have child. How do the woman that don't have kids can help that man with the child, or be understanding with the child? Do she need to chime in, like just be more attentive to the child, or do she need to fall back and not be all extra?
Can I
Like,
answer?
yeah.
So this is kind of the policy that I say is that in general, like with my son, he has a really good mother. He has a really good father. The person that I'm talking to, I only expect him to be a really good adult because he doesn't have a deficit inside either one of those things. So like, I think that really good adults in general can tell kids what's right, what's wrong, correct them. They can do a bunch of different things or whatnot. But there's not an expectation where I'm at where you have to like play a role of any sort. Like I don't expect anybody to come in and play a role because
But
of
there
like
is a
that
role
role is
though,
there.
because I would say there is a role. I think that not necessarily. I think that the role is to make sure that the child is able to see what a family structure looks like. A man that is able to lead, and I know we talk about like how I'm a traditionalist, so a man that's able to lead, and then
Well,
a
we just talking
woman
about
that,
is a functional family
right,
structure.
right. So
Like
to see,
how
actually,
however
really,
it
what it
is.
is to be able to see what love really looks like, what love and structure looks like.
No, I feel like not every child has that structure as far as the parents. Some parents is just off. Like if both, like you said, you have the balance, you have that structure. Some parents don't have that structure, whereas like the mom got it together, the dad got it together, or the child is with the dad, the mom most of the times, and now because he's showing out, he has to go to the dad, and now dad don't even know how to function with the child because it's new to him as far as having his child 24/7 or being in a household every day and seeing him every day and having to take him to school and having to work and balance everything. And I feel like if the child is crying out, like punishment is not going to do it. Whipping the child is not going to do it 24, especially if you doing all these things already and he's still not getting it. How do you fix that? How do you balance that?
I'm a strong advocate for therapy for children. I think that if you've done everything you can and you're not succeeding, and even if you've involved your other partner and they're also not being able to see, why not therapy? I mean, they can really help them because it might be something they can't talk to you about
But there's
that they're
also,
going through.
and I think there's also like a place where we need to understand that as adults, sometimes the kid don't need therapy. We need help.
And
We need
that's probably the
strategy. We
closer
need
thing.
strategy in parenting. We need help, especially most of us haven't seen two parent households. So we don't know what we doing. We've been freestyling our whole lives. So instead of trying to sit there and look at the kids, we need to more look at ourselves. I think, like I said, the parent as parents, if your children are a certain way, it's because you molded them that way. If you didn't mold them that way, you've allowed for that molding to happen from somewhere.
So you think about it now. I mean, I guess we got to think about age ranges too. Because one thing I have noticed, with especially us being millennials and things, grandmas are like 30 now. Unfortunately, when I say 30, like late 30s. You know what I'm saying? So you have what's deemed children raising children. And then I always look at kids, the beauty of a child. You see like a 4 or 5 year old, and you can see a white child and a black child, and they see each other, and they see two kids, and they just playing, they so happy and whatnot. And you're like, man, that's beautiful, baby. It warms your heart. You looking at them. But then as they get older, they acting different. Reason being, to your point, and to several points, it's how you raise them. It's the environment. You are a product of your environment. The nurturing piece. Too often we see, especially now that we got social media, we got cameras and stuff. We'll see a young boy rapping, saying all the lyrics, a little baby, all these different things. Look at it, cute. Is it really
That shit
cute?
ain't cute, bro.
Is it really cute? Then you also have the girls, to the point where they dancing, they twerking, they see what's going on. Look at them, they doing that. Nah, what are you actually encouraging? So once you create that monster, don't sit here and question the monster. You created the monster. Don't do that. To the point, we were talking. Remember, we were talking about Lupe Fiasco. One of my favorite songs by Lupe is I think it's what is it, Bad Bitch. I think that's the name of that song. But he was just talking about how malleable kids are. He was like, they don't see paid actors, they don't see paid actresses, they don't see none of this. They just literally see what's on TV. Ooh, okay, that's what make a bad woman. Oh, okay, that's what makes a good guy. Or what I like to be a good guy. Nah, these people are paid for this, man. I mean, look at Blueface and whatever the girl name it. They putting on for the camera. And they getting paid for this. They look like some fools, but they getting paid. But do kids see them getting paid?
And see,
They
and that's
don't.
another thing. Like the lens of the culture that they choose to show us consistently is being for sale. They consistently show us this being for sale, and it's actually convincing a lot of us. It's convincing. I think that literally, we've been convinced in this whole idea of this hamster wheel and all of these things, and I think that it's to the detriment. You know what I mean? Us sitting there you want to take 6 trips a year. Okay, well, if you want to do that, then that means that you're going to have to make a certain amount of money, and then making that amount of money, that means that you draw yourself away from your family, and then drawing you away from your family, then the result of that is the children not having, intentional parenting, because you can say, oh, I'm taking the kids over to the babysitter or to okay, but where is it that they're learning what these standards really are, the standards that the household is going to stand on? Where is it that all of these moral? I mean, you can allow somebody else or depend on somebody else to provide this level of morality, but I don't believe that most people in those places with all these different kids.
I'm gonna let you finish. I think we got. Go ahead. We got Davenport got a question for us.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was going way too far. My bad.
Why aren't men so quick to do for the independent woman who don't ask for nothing monetary as quick as the woman who's always asking with her hand out?
Say it one more time.
That wasn't a bad question.
Why aren't men so quick to do for the independent woman who don't ask for nothing monetary value as quick as the woman who always has her hand out?
Well, I have a question actually.
Oh, they lit.
So when you're in a relationship, do you establish expectations from your partner? Like, how do you know that men aren't doing for independent women as they are doing for women who, I guess, are dependent? Like, what level of expectation is that? Because relationships are based off of what your standards are and how each person is able to meet those standards.
Well, I feel like during the dating stage, you having these type of conversations, and sometimes the men tend to tell a little bit too much, and you just listen, and you're just like, oh, okay, you think to go trip, okay, you know what I'm saying? She's a gold digger, you do all that for her, you know what I'm saying? But then it's like, you get, now you know what type of person you are. I'm a giver. So it's like, you dating this person, you done told me how you move with these girls that already don't treat you right, that's gold diggers. You already told me how you move. So now I'm dating you. Not to say I'm looking for that, but now it's like it brings to my attention, like, let me see how he moved. But I don't ask for anything. I'm not even asking for Valentine's Day gifts. I'm not asking for Christmas. I'm not asking for a list. But I just want to see on a humble of yourself on how you will move if a chick don't ask for anything because she can do well for herself. Okay, so now I'm dating you and it's just like,
So this reminds me of that saying of when people like, if he wanted to, he would. I don't think it's a matter of if he wanted to. I think it's a matter of you telling somebody and them executing what you say. So if you're not establishing, hey, I like flowers. Hey, I like to go on a date once a week. Hey, I like my back rub, every 2 weeks or whatever. It's kind of like that person really doesn't know. And with that being said, it's kind of like you can't expect for them to just do it out the blue if you haven't really said what you like. Because with the last chick, like, you might not like. So it's kind of like you have to level set with each person to say, hey, this is what I want from you. This is what I expect from you. And you have to give them space to show it. If they don't show it, then sis, by all means, be out the door. But you do have to provide that space and grace for them to show, like, hey, this is what you said. I heard you. I'm going to reciprocate to you.
Let me build that, Charles. But as a man, I was gonna say, like, closed mouths don't get fed. So man, if you don't tell me what you want, the woman who's not independent, who says what she wants and asks for what she wants, she gets it because she asks. The other woman who's independent, I'm guessing, does she want this? Is this what she? I don't necessarily know. So if somebody tells me or asks for something, it's real easy for me to, okay, I can do that. But if I'm just coming off my dome or I'm just trying to figure, it takes a little bit longer.
The thing is,
I gotta figure you out. Like if you're not asking me, that means I gotta figure you out, and that's gonna take a little longer than just somebody asking.
true, but that is not the case. That is not the case in that situation. Very much true, but I feel like most women are communicative. They communicate. It's the guys that hold back and be very emotional and don't even say like, "Oh, I'm going through this. I'm going through that." I'm sure it was communicated, and it was like, it's no way that you can. Let's just quote unquote say for Valentine's Day. That's a common one. Like if you know that's like women are loving or expecting like I shouldn't say expecting because that sounds bad, but you know what time Valentine's Day is. You already know what type of energy you possibly might get on Valentine's Day, but you sat there and did nothing. There's no assumption to that. It's like you already know what time it is. Why would you not do the nothing? You would give the bare minimum for a woman that's independent than just for a woman that have her hand out. And then guys be like, oh, I ain't winning no gold digger. She out for my money because she had to ask you. Not every guy understand hints. Not every guy, you know what I'm saying? I get that. But if it's said communication is big on my end. So if it was coming from me, I'm sure I probably would have said, look, I like this, or, this is fun, or whatever the case may be. But you didn't take the time to listen. How do you go about that?
Well, I'm saying not everybody pick up on clues. Some people just
It's
need
not
it to be
clue. If
stated.
I just said, if I said it,
Man, hold on, let me get the mic. I can dig into y'all two niggas. Hey, real quick. This is a really funny perspective from a nigga that be like, I be hoping I want my woman to pick up on clues from what I like.
Well,
Like, how the fuck you want her to do that and you can't do it?
Wait.
Hey, hold up. But look, I've been here. I have grown. I have evolved. And I'm allowed to change my
Big Johnny.
Like, I mean,
No, but wait. So with the independent woman piece, I feel like when a man is trying to be considerate, a lot of the times women say, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Oh no, I got it." So they're constantly thinking like, "Oh, she ain't worried about it."
It's just a nice gesture.
And so,
Don't believe me.
But see, they don't think. I don't think men think that. That's why women have to self-reflect and be consistent and reminding them, "Hey, I like these things." Especially if you're in the dating phase, they don't know you. You don't know them. But once you're in the dating phase, but hold on, wait. But once you're in the dating phase, once y'all are like solidified, then it's they should be able to pick up clues because they know I get excited when I see this. They know I'm hyped when I go there. That's once you're in the dating phase. But no, I don't think.
And Lauren, to your point, men are logical. That's why at the beginning we taking it for face value. You say you like this, I'm not reading. I'm not reading between these lines right now.
That's why
tell me what you want.
Works. That's
say what you say and mean what you say.
That's exactly why asking works.
And then the thing too,
we get it. But we gonna move on to the next question. I know they got y'all a little riled up.
Hey, Johnny, I actually got a really good question. This question hit the group chat earlier. This was one that it kind of like stirred up the group chat this week. And it was a question: do all men trick? This is a conversation amongst guys, and there was a bunch of guys that thought that all men trick.
Facts.
And I'm not gonna like delineate like exactly what the parameters of what people said.
No, but listen, I'm going to actually define.
Well, my bad. This is the nigga that put the shit in the group chat.
Yes, yes, I put it in the group chat because I was trying to understand. You know what I mean? The difference between courting and tricking. And so what the homie said, like I talked to a couple of guys. I talked to like 4 or 5 guys. They was like, yeah, if you spending money, you tricking. And I'm like, hold on though, because at the end of the day, we understand that as men, there's a level of give that you have to. There's a level of give that comes from, you know what I mean, that you have to do to make sure that that the woman understands that you are real in what you're saying, or not even like real in what you're saying. It's like you have to put skin in the game. You got to put some kind of skin in the game. At least that's what it seems as though that we have learned over time. And maybe it is that we don't have to. I was trying to figure out myself, like, so what is tricking?
I feel like tricking is when you expecting sex at the end of the day because you took her out to eat. That's tricking because you expecting something.
So you spend in your mind trick. I'm not. In the dude's mind, if he's paying for sex, that's when he's tricking.
No.
Or if he believes he's paying for sex.
That's tricking too, but I feel like the guy is expecting something. He's not trying to court her because he's trying to take it to the next level. He's trying to buy her dinner, show her the nice things so she could drop them pennies.
So it's based on intention.
That's tricking. So and courting is dating because I am dating you with the purpose. I know what I want. I know what I'm trying to do, and I like you as an individual, or I possibly might not like you as an individual. You're dating to get to know that person. Maybe you like this person. Okay, this is not the one for me. That's okay at the end of the day. But in that situation, on a good note, I am dating different people. Let that be known.
So let me ask you this. So is it purely based? Because from what I got of what you're saying that it's based on the intention of the man
getting sex.
First of all, dating is not just on the man. The women have an opinion in this too. Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna let you trick me, that's because I want to get tricked. If I'm gonna date you, no, seriously, like because if you speaking to a man and he coming, like if I'm speaking to a man and he coming at me like, yo, I can take care of you. I pay this bill, that bill. I'm gonna play my part. All right, so I already know what you're about. So I'm gonna do, but I'm not that type of girl. Like I don't care if I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't care how much money you throw at me. But if you come at me like that, and if I'm in the mood, I bet. Let's see.
I have a question. Since when did courtship turn into tricking and expectation of sex? Because I feel like when you look at it back in the day, those weren't things that were expected of a woman. You're courting a woman because you're interested in her. Eventually, you know, some cultures you got to pay dowries to get the wife. So it's kind of like, since when did courtship become tricking and expectation of sex? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I feel like there's been this warped view of it to where, oh, if I take you to a $50 dinner, you got to drop them draws. And mind you, I don't condone the city girl shit. To me, I think that's modern day prostitution, but that's just me. Y'all can fight me. I don't care. So when I think about courtship, I think it's like a guy saying, hey, I want this woman to eventually be in a relationship with, to be my wife, whatever that looks like, right? So it's like now it's like dudes are like, oh, you simping, or oh, you tricking because you're spending money on this woman. I'm not saying you got to go out and spend a band on this woman. I'm not saying that. But when I'm saying, like, if you want to have, if you want to go to the movies, that's money. If you want to go out to a little simple dinner, that's money. Like, there's certain things you are going to have to spend money on during courtship. I'm not saying spend a shit ton of money, because there's so many things that you can do for a discount. But
So-
it's kind of like now it's tricking or simping. I don't understand that.
So I think that, well, I think you raised a lot of really good points,
Agreed.
valid ass points. I think that I like to merge conversations, and I think that my homeboy Jeffrey Hayden, he kind of went. I like to call it semi-viral. He got a lot of spice on the internet over like the past few days, and he had like a really interesting commentary on what we're talking about. Where matter of fact, he here, so I'm gonna let him kind of like tap in when it comes down to the idea of like courting early on. Yeah.
I asked a question on Facebook to a chick that had an issue about a guy that told her that he wanted her to actually pitch in on dates. So I asked her, if you are mutually interested in the guy, what is wrong with reciprocating those actions? That's a question directly to the ladies.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask that because I know when me and Q started dating, like, I didn't pay for like the first 3 dates, but the fourth date I planned and I paid for it, and I was like, hey, meet me here. The date was already planned for because I'm interested in him, and I didn't want him to constantly feel like, well, damn, I'm just shoveling this money to my girl, and then she's not reciprocating it. If you're interested in someone, it's mutual reciprocation on both ends. Both people want to feel valued. No one wants to feel like I'm being taken advantage of, used because I can do X, Y, and Z. It's like, if you're serious about this person, then of course you're going to reciprocate. But if you're not serious about them, then you're just going to use them for whatever they can provide for.
I want
Very
you to
much
know
true.
that he definitely told us that. He definitely told
But no, very much.
Hey, it made it to the group chat, fellas.
No, very much. It's a lot of women that's out there that's willing to. Naturally, women are givers and carers. We care, we give, but we want to see the man being a man. We want to see the man taking that step first, my opinion, taking that step first, like, okay, I am interested in this woman. We want to see that you for sure. We don't want to be played around with. We don't want to be lied to. We don't want to be none of that. And we have intuition. We pick that up off gate. And it's just like, some women possibly like, maybe he'll change. And some women's like, okay, it is what it is. I have to cut this off. But as far as me, let me speak. I've done that before. When I was interested in a guy, I didn't tell him because he was the type of guy like he wouldn't let me come in my pocket. Mm-hmm. And he felt weird by me doing that. So I had to sneak and do it. I would do that. But at the end of the day, I need to know if it's real. And if you're dating, sometimes you don't know. Because the fakeness is real right now. You don't even know what's fake and what's real, my opinion. But
I agree with that.
I've done it before and I don't feel bad about it, and I will do it again if I'm interested in that person. But women are capable of doing it nowadays because women are making their own money. Women are not tolerating the nonsense. Women are not sticking around because the family. Yeah. It's a lot of that. Yeah. It's a lot of dynamics that's changing with women. We're tired, and at this point, it's just like.
I guarantee you that we know that y'all don't give a lot of a fuck. But let me ask you this.
No more questions. Let them all answer first.
Okay.
No,
let it rock.
Let me say this, and this goes back to the question that I think was earlier, or something y'all was speaking on earlier. It's not about like how much money you make. For me, it's like I'm a genuinely nice person. So if I see you, taking me out on dates constantly and doing this, I don't mind like, yo, waitress, this is my card. I want to know, like, if I can do this for my man, he can do the same for me. I'm not going to let you just feel like, oh, I'm always taking her out. I'm always doing this for her. Honey, that bank account can do the same for you. And I don't mind doing it. If you treat me right and I'm loving you and you taking care of me and you make me feel how I'm supposed to feel, I don't mind taking my car and paying for the date. I want to hear what Lauren got to say. Because it's a lot. Oh, go ahead.
So there was a lot of if you were.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Why is that the stipulation for you to move forward with reciprocating those actions?
because
So like, what is the problem with a woman leading with that part first?
it's no problem with if I approach you as if I come like, yo,
There is a problem based.
no, if you approach me and like, yo, ma, I want to take you out.
Based on the commentary that came back to my inbox when I posed some of these questions on my Instagram account, there is a problem with women. So I got into this debate on Facebook and I screenshotted the conversation and sent it to like 6 group chats. 2 or 3 of them have no women in it, including like ours. But then I had like the family, I had like other group chats, and even put it on Instagram. And there was a huge consensus with women where they felt like if a man was not paying for a date or anything like that, then he was less of a man. I need to know that if it was a whole the courting was a big question was a big commentary that came back. Courting. My opinion was that when in the courting phase, both the man and the woman is courting the other person.
I just want to comment from a perspective of being a new matchmaker. I've been following up with the couples that I've matched. And can you believe that like 3 people have told me they don't want to go on a date with the girl again because she paid for the first date?
Yeah.
They said that they felt like that was a sign that that the girl didn't like them.
No.
Also, they felt like they felt almost disrespected because, well, okay.
I told them there was a piece of the conversation that we had with them where I said that not most, but a lot of men mess up when they lead with their wallet. So when you lead with your wallet, a lot of times that's because you have nothing else to offer.
hello.
So when you allow
in your
a
pocket.
woman to pay and you feel offended that she paid, it's because your conversation, your intellect, and a lot of other things that you
been
have,
lying.
you don't
been
have.
lying.
You don't have those other things to offer. All
been
you got is
lying.
money.
You don't have money.
Back to what Quintel was saying, when me and my lady went on our first date, she paid for her food, I paid for mine. And we sat in the restaurant for like 2 hours and talked. We just sat there and really had conversation. The second date, I paid for it, and she ate her ass off. But same thing. But just like Taj said, by like the 4th or 5th date, she whipped out and was like, nah, I got this one. And it let me know that she was mutually interested. Where it was like, hey, I know, you know what I'm saying, finances or not, this shit can get expensive, but we ordering drinks, we buying food. We could easily cook the same meal at home for $15, but we spending $60. Let me pay for it. And we really sat down and had those conversations. And it let me know that she was also intentional about what she was trying to accomplish with me as well.
I just want to say something real quick. Just real quick.
Tap in.
Well, first of all, I don't think courting. I think courting is starting to come back with men. But I honestly feel like men are scared of women, and I feel like we come off very dominant. I feel like we come off very forceful. I feel like it's like, well, you better do this, you better do that, and men are not able to keep up. That was it. Everybody talking.
So I was gonna ask Jeff, right? Yeah. So I want to piggyback off of yours because I like exactly what you said. Our first date, I ate before I got there. I was like, yo, I'm here because we finna have a conversation. I literally pulled up, went to the mall. She was looking for something, walked around the mall, left there. I think we went to Ultra, went to Target. We literally are running Ultra, whatever the place, the makeup place. The makeup place. You know what I'm saying? So like we're literally going on errands, bro. But we talking, cutting up as we go. In the meantime, literally drive through. She grabs something to eat. She paid whatever. The whole night, all we doing is talking and whatnot, getting to know each other. The next day, okay, yeah, I paid. And then I think like 2 months in, we ended up going on like a trip or something. She bought me a whole outfit. She was like, yo, hey, I bought you an outfit for this trip. I'm like, yo, you bought me something? And so at that point, I'm like, dang, all right, we vested. Okay. Yeah. And then we get on the trip and she take me to Cheesecake Factory. We in Florida taking. I'm like, so the whole courting thing is it's mutual, bro. It's mutual.
Right.
The same pressure that a guy's gonna apply to you, the same pressure a woman's gonna apply. But I will say, unfortunately, I think Tajman, you spoke on it. The city girls thing it's made everything very toxic now because everything is money. Everything is led with the material. Oh, you bought me. I'm using it because that's what we see. Oh, you bought me a Birkin. Oh, you can provide for me. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care nothing about my personality. You don't care nothing about how
And
I'm
not to
going to be
mention,
with
people
you.
trying to keep up with the Joneses. So a lot of these people are hella dead.
Right.
Well,
I know.
I was going to say, and that's something we definitely learned in our career paths that it's like, yo, the same way you have people that are very poor, and they live in paycheck to paycheck, literally 60 to 70% of rich people are living paycheck to paycheck. They are
and
one
but that's
like,
why it's about position, not paper.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
about position, not paper.
Nah, it's bad. Hey, Gary, real quick. So I feel like because we all sharing like our broke or our cheap date stories. I feel like I want to share one too. I think that me and Taj probably my favorite date that we had is where I don't remember why we was in Plaza Midwood, but it was like early on, and like we ended up going to like we did something. I can't remember what it was, but it couldn't have been like about too much. Maybe it was like a concert, maybe it was a show, it was something stupid, and we was like, damn, what we about to do? And CVS is right there, so we grabbed a bottle of wine. We went into the car and we said we're gonna have an in-car concert. And so like we sat and we played songs and we sat and talked for like 2-3 hours. And this was like where we actually like it was like, all right, this is a motherfucker I can fuck with. And I think that those are the things when we talk about like niggas spending money and like the idea of being a trick or being a person that is actually valued by your partner. Where like are you impressing this person off of a dollar or off of like attributes of who you are as a person? No matter again, like could I pay for and do all? Sure, but there's never been a time in which I've ever led with that because that's not ever something that I value inside a woman that I talk to. So like, if I can supply something for you, I'd rather that come on the back end more so than the idea of.
The crazy thing is that like as we sitting here going through this conversation and we sit there and what this is just a hypothesis. I believe that what it is that the reason why men would lead with their pockets a lot of times where we say like, oh, it's because they don't have anything else. So, they don't know this and don't know. What it is that they don't know what is valuable. They don't know what's valuable about themselves. Right. And so that's why
some men, not all men, right?
Oh yeah, no, I don't. No, what I would say is, I think that it's a part of society. It's a part of society because as men, you haven't seen where your value comes from anything other than asset. When I say asset, I mean based on finances. Like you haven't seen where men were praised for being anything other than earners,
being funny, being smart, being all kind of stuff.
Like what I would say is that like it's interesting, and I think that's where guys end up. That's why they lead with the pocket because it's like, man, I don't know if I'm actually valuable outside of this because from what I'm hearing is that this is what gives me value. So can I actually be myself or do I need to lead with my pockets because I don't feel comfortable enough to like I'm attracted to you. So like yeah, like I'm attracted to you. So like
that's a conversation to be had. You need to say that to the woman. Like conversation. I mean, having conversation.
That shit sound good. That shit sounds good.
Guys, I feel like y'all put the pressure on yourself for so much. Like y'all don't have to put that weight on y'all. Y'all put that on yourself on your own. We don't do that to y'all sometimes. Y'all do it to yourselves.
Listen, what
and
I'm
it's
saying.
like, no.
Or is it society?
We've lived
No, I mean, you can play into society if you want. That's based off you. That's based off you, though. If you feel like you need to be because the society said this, that's on you. You know how you are as an individual. You know what you're capable of doing. You know what you're capable of, what you about. You don't have to play into that role. If you meet a woman that you like, you say, look, communicate to that woman and be like, look, this is how I feel. This is what it is because Men say they're simple, but y'all really not. We are not mind readers. We don't know how y'all feeling. We know we have intuition when we know something is wrong. We know that, like I said, something is wrong. But if y'all don't say for what it is, we can't read your mind. We can't put the pieces together, and that hurt us as an individual trying to put the pieces together, and then assumptions come into play because we don't know what's going on. But as far as going back to what he was saying, as far as going courting and dating and all of that, if you approach me, you're trying to court me. So I need for you to put in the work. Not only that, I will put in the work too, but I need to know if it's real. If you, not only that, guys come and they know that they're traumatized, they're mentally not there, and you still trying to date. You shouldn't be dating if you know that you're broken. That's not right. That is not right. And then now my feelings is invested, and now it's broken because now I need to take a break because my mom yelled at me when I was a child, and then I was like, "Come on now, we don't need that. We don't need that." But okay,
We gotta have some more conversations.
Yeah, we gonna talk later.
You gonna like her?
Nah, that was a good couple questions. I'll say follow the To Be Fair Show on Facebook at the To Be Fair Show. Follow us on Instagram at the To Be Fair Show and YouTube at the To Be Fair Show.
Hey, Johnny, I think
Don't do it. Like, comment, subscribe, the notification button up there. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, wait, real.